And welcome back. Now, there's been much tension in the Free State farming town of Paul Roux near Senekal following the recent murder of farm manager Brendin Horner. Violence erupted last week when a group of farmers tried to storm the courtroom and burnt a police vehicle during the court appearance of two suspects in connection with the murder of Horner. And yesterday, Police Minister Bheki Cele and State Security Minister Ayanda Dlodlo visited the town and the family of Brendin Horner. Now, the murder has once again shone the spotlight on farm murders and also the police's handling of such cases. Police Minister Bheki Cele joins us now to discuss this further. Minister, good morning. Thanks for speaking to us once again on Morning Live.
Morning, Sakina, and good morning to the listenership.
Minister, tension rife in the town of Paul Roux, and you met with farmers and with workers, and it would seem both sides not happy with each other at the moment, and pretty reminiscent of what you found when you went to KwaZulu-Natal to Normandein. So just give us your assessment of what is currently happening in these farming communities and the police's handling of the situation.
Well, good morning again. We visited the family of Horner. We met the parents, mother and father, and mother is on the bad side. She can't take it, and the young girlfriend and their employer, Mr. Skippers. The son was employed by Mr. Skippers, and the father is also employed by Mr. Skippers. They don't own their farm. So, but we visited their house to pay our condolences. From there, we went to Bethlehem in the hall, where we met the farming community. As you say, they were farmers and they're farm workers. Let me immediately dispel the similarity of the tensions between Normandein and there. I think whether or covertly or openly, I did not detect that there was a tension between the farm workers and farmers, as we had the same problem in Normandein.
So, saying that you met with the family of Brendin Horner, Minister, you also said that it was unacceptable that one of the accused, and correct me if I'm wrong, in that killing, one of the accused had actually been arrested 16 times.
As you have said, I was with Minister Dlodlo. Minister Lamula was supposed to be there. He was held up a little bit. He will be there on Friday. We are trying to work on these matters as more of the chain, the JCPS, the crime prevention cluster, because these are the gaps you find as you go there. To say police will be blamed for things that should have been done by other segment of the cluster. Indeed, this guy has been arrested 16 times, cases withdrawn 12 times, and he has been sentenced 4 times. And you would really love to know what still makes him to walk around when the guy has been arrested 16 times, 9 times for stock theft, and the other times for other things. That is true. The other one has been arrested 3 times, once for stock theft. So those are the things that as a cluster we work much better to find out what would have put him outside when he has been arrested 16 times.
So, as you can imagine, Minister, this leads to, a further mistrust of not just the police, but as you say, this is not just purely a police matter, it's a criminal justice matter. And you met with the farmers, and they also told you that they don't trust the police, and they've even accused the police of working with the criminals. And that's also what some of the protesters said when they protested last week and over the weekend when they marched to the Union buildings. So how exactly are you dealing with that? And it seems to be deepening this trust deficit between communities, be it farm communities or any other community, and the police.
Well, one thing that helps, Sakina, is to go there, to be in the belly of the beast and talk with people and listen. They did give me the document. Unfortunately, the document is only in Afrikaans. I told them that when I return the document, I'll write it in Sizulu. Everybody agreed. The crux of the matter is that this problem has been raised, but the very same community, which unfortunately those matters are not picked up and pitched up, is that they have problem with some police, and they emphasize the point that those police could be few, and they even give the name. For instance, in the station bureau, they said out of 10 police, they'll have 2 that are bad. They still work with the police for the fact that there is still people getting arrested, which means they do work with the police. But also, there is a big will that police themselves and the farming community, they work together, especially on the very troublesome issue of the stock theft. And that stock theft is happening to farmers and all farmers. So it is on that score that we have agreed to go back there and specifically see how do we work on matters of 3 police stations that they have raised. But generally, there is a plan that deals with the safety of the rural safety. That, unfortunately, the Monday before the young man was killed, National Commission of the South African Police and the leadership of the farming community, they met, they put things on the table, and that meeting was very positive. We're building on that, but also we don't have a problem of meeting with the specific farming communities in specific communities.
Now, one of the other issues that was raised here, Minister, especially following the arrest of 51-year-old businessman, Mr. Pina, who was arrested for damage to police property and is expected to appear in court soon. Farmers say that they are now at a point where they will take the law into their own hands. We've heard them say this outside the courts during protests. We've seen videos doing the rounds on social media where they actually say this because they say that the police are really not coming to their assistance. And as you say, they say 2 or 3 bad police officers. But we know the story of farm murders. We know that some civil society groupings have even raised this issue internationally, where they say that the police and government by extension is not taking this issue of farm murder seriously. So are you taking it seriously, Minister? And what do you have to put on the table to prove that this is, in fact, something that you take seriously?
Well, it's unfortunate that those civil organizations will look the matters of that. We have a problem of crime in South Africa. Let's concede on that. And that crime is much broader than the farming community. I want to emphasize this point of farming community because all colors of farm workers and farmers themselves, they die there. For instance, let me put you on the picture. For last 12 months or more, there would have been 4 farmers that have been killed in the same area there. And 3 of them are black and 1 of them is white. I'm simply saying it's across the board. But unfortunately, when these civil organizations, they go out there, they deal as if is an issue of the white South African, which is not true. But not only that, the murder rate in South Africa is much high. That's why we're trying to fight over it, whether it's in the township, whether it's in the taxi industry, whether it's a GBV and femicide. What we do, we put those cases on one basket in terms of seriousness. They are called trio and contact crimes. They are called fear crimes, where we work together. So if you say it's not prioritized, so against what? Against GBV or against people that are shot and killed on the streets of South Africa, especially in the townships, come the weekend. We have put those cases together and we put same energy, we put same resources to fight them on the equal basis, regardless of who is a victim, whether black or white, who are dealing with the South African situation, not with the color situation.
One of the other criticisms arising from what happened in Senekal, Minister, is the police's handling of protests where black protesters are involved and where white protesters are involved. And what the sentiment is that nobody was manhandled. There was no rubber bullets or any live ammunition being shot. And the sentiment is that generally, if these were black protesters, the police would come out much more heavy-handed than we saw happening in Senekal. How do you respond to that the police service actually treats black and white protesters differently?
Well, there should be no live ammunition shot in any form of protest, white or black or whatever color of it. That is not the standard procedure of dealing with those matters. But other things, you as a human being, you learn lessons going forward. To some of us, Marikana is still there and it cannot be repeated. But it's not very true that nothing was done there. For instance, there were stun grenades that were put there when those people, they stormed the court, when they wanted to take those two suspects. That's why they didn't take those suspects. Indeed, there were bad scenes. One problem about that, Sakina, is that surely there was under preparation of the police. There is one thing that I don't know if South Africans do though. There was a court judgment, especially the Concord judgment, that says the law which forces the organizers of any march or any gathering to sit down with the police, to prepare for the routes, to prepare for the numbers and all that, that law, they said it was unconstitutional. So everybody and anybody can wake up next morning and march, having not discussed that with anybody. That's a problem that South African police lately are encountering. That includes the cliques problem. That's a problem we had, that we can't sit down and plan so that we send enough equipment, to send enough people. But this time, because we know what happened there, as a South African police, we're very much prepared, we're very much fine. We're not going to be able to zip people their mouths. What are they saying about Senekal and Friday? Ours is to make preparation, and I can assure you we are ready for whatever noise that is there. We are ready that people will have to be safe there and the property will have to be protected.
So just moving on to other matters relating to the police minister, the case against 12 police officers, including former acting National Police Commissioner Khomotso Patlane, charged in the multi-million rand police warning lights tender scandal, has been postponed until November. But this, of course, is another problem, because here you have, again, very senior members of the police service implicated in criminal activity. So, again, how do you then go about instilling trust in a police service when at the highest levels of the service, people are corrupt?
Well, the question there, Sakina, what happens when people are corrupt? Unfortunately, there is no way of getting in the heart of individuals to say don't get corrupt. But once they get corrupt, the state must react, must respond. It doesn't matter who you are. For the very fact that you talk about 13 people that are charged, some of them in a very senior level, of course, several generals and several brigadiers there. The problem would be if you say there is no response, there is no arrest, because that is a level. But what is happening here is that the law responds regardless of your level. That's what we expect to happen. That when people get corrupt, it doesn't matter who they are, the law must react and respond, as it has happened here.
Would you say this is indicative of a systemic problem of corruption within the police service? And if so, What are you doing about it? How are you going about rooting out that systemic corruption in the service?
Well, it's a systematic problem within the South African society. And the police are part of that same society. By the way, in South Africa, I think in 2 years or few years ago, many magistrates have been arrested, including the one that arrested about 2 months ago somewhere in Mossel Bay in Cape Town. Many prosecutors have been arrested. It's a system that deals with the whole chain, of which I fully agree with you that all of those people that are supposed to be defending and protecting the law but are breaking the very same law, those that are good within the system must still act to protect the law and make sure that those that are not there to serve the law but to serve their own selfish interests are taken off the system.
But who's going to take care of them, Minister, when the rot runs right up to the top? Who's going to take care of it?
But they are arrested. Sakina, 13 of them, South African police, are arrested, which means there will be, out of 185,000 people that work in the South African police, there will be many more that are good. For the fact that these are arrested, which means there are still good police and they will arrest those that are bad, no matter how no matter how high they are.
I think a while back, and this was in response to a question in Parliament, I think the number was around 4,000 police officers with criminal records. What have you since done about that particular issue, Minister?
That should be, that is a list that was there and that is being cleansed. These criminal records, there would be many that they are petty. Your traffic tickets, while is a criminal record, but it will be unlike drinking and driving, which I guess is a serious one. But the commissioner was looking at that. I think much has been done. It is a pity. It is wrong that you will still find the police that are having criminal records still in the system, as it happened in El Dorado Park, that somebody that was found guilty in El Dorado Park is still in the system. That the management and the ministry will have to have on it to make sure that people, especially those people that have been found guilty and they have criminal record, they have no business whatsoever to be in this system, to be part of this organization. On that one, I'll fully concede, and that must be done and done quickly.
But you see, Minister, the problems are many and they are quite serious. I remember a few years back during one of the Portfolio Committee briefings, I think it was IPID that was briefing the Portfolio Committee on Police, and the matter of KGB Sitole was raised. Here's a man who was supposed to be behind bars. He was supposed to be incarcerated, and he was heading up a whole police unit, Minister. And then later it turns out he was given money, essentially a sort of slush fund that was created within the police ministry, and that the allegation was that he had used that money to go to the ANC's Mangaung conference to influence voting there. What has since happened to KGB Sitole? Where is he?
Well, I don't know. As you say, the money was given from ministry. I don't know if that is true, because that money you talk about would have been money for covert activities as it was raised in that particular time. And that money does not sit with the ministry unless the people from ministry had influence in that particular time. Exactly where he is, I don't know, but I know for sure he's out of the system. He's not with the South African Police Service anymore.
Is he in jail, Minister?
I definitely don't think he's in jail. He's not in jail.
How can he not be in jail? He was supposed to be in jail at the time when that was happening, and yet he found himself heading up a whole police unit.
Well, those that investigated and take the matter to the prosecution can explain better why, because as I've said, that it will be the chain, a person will be investigated by the police, but it's not the police that put people in jail. Is what put people in jail would be a prosecution. Maybe finding it from there will help, but what I know for sure now is not in the police.
And just a final question, how many police stations are still being guarded by private security companies, Minister?
Not too many of them there are, and that's one thing that we are reversing. We are increasing the number of the reservists that will be registered with the South African police, who have been trained with the South African police. Even this year, we're taking about 3,000 of those, so that police stations are guarded by bona fide people that are registered as members of the South African police rather than the private security.
But you do understand the perception around that, Minister. Here are the police who are tasked with keeping us, the general public, safe, and yet they can't keep themselves safe. They need private security to come and keep them safe in a police station. How are we supposed to trust them?
Is exactly what I'm saying, that decision was taken at a certain given time, and that is reversed so that the people that guard the police station, not all police stations, by the way, that are guarded. There are some police stations that are guarded, some are not, because the security assessment would have said that police station is not in danger. Those that the security assessment said they're in danger, that would be guarded, is exactly what is corrected, that people that are registered, trained, and paid by the South African police should do that. That question of private security guarding the police should be really reversed, and it is getting reversed.
And just a final question, update on top cop Charles Kania. Is there any update with regard to his case? Well,
at the present moment, it's a finalization of the report that is done by the Divisional Commissioner of Visible Policing, General Sembe, rounding that report, giving it to the National Commissioner, and coming to the Minister. The identification of people that are supposed to be part of arrest is there. We believe that it will progress and progress soon.
Minister, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, and pleasure speaking to you as always, Minister of Police Bheki Cele, and talking to us there about a visit to Paul Roux in the Free State with Minister of State Security Ayanda Dlodlo. And there's also been much tension in that town following the killing of farm manager Brendin Horner. Minister Cele also giving us updates on the latest stories making headlines where police are concerned. Let's hand it over to Leanne.